Good afternoon and welcome to the South Orange County Economic Coalition's March virtual membership meeting, The Changing Face of Retail in South Orange County. I'm Kelly Lee, Government Affairs Manager for Southern California Edison and a board member of the South Orange County Economic Coalition. Before we get started, I'd like to thank our sponsor whose support made this program today possible, Merlone Geyer Partners. Merlone Geyer Partners is a vertically integrated and regionally focused firm investing in West Coast retail properties. Since 1993, Merlone Geyer has acquired 173 West Coast properties representing in excess of 28.5 million square feet. In South Orange County, the Village at Laguna Hills provides a new vision for the Laguna Hills Mall, which includes retail, restaurants, entertainment, residential, and park space. Speaking of Merlone Geyer and the Village at Laguna Hills, please join me in welcoming Jake Anderson, the property manager of the Village at Laguna Hills, as well as Susan Jenrick, the general manager of the outlets at San Clemente, and Jancy Allig, the specialty leasing director of the outlets. Susan, Jake, and Jancy, thank you all for joining us here today. So let's talk about where retail was 10, 15, 20 years ago and where it is today. I remember when the mall was the place to go, where all the kids would hang out, spend their allowance on arcade games, movie tickets, and records. Adults would go to the malls to check out the latest fashions, get the latest shoes, clothing, and accessories, meet friends for lunch. Today, it's so much different. Susan, what is your perspective?
Kelly, thank you again for including us in this discussion about retail. In some ways, it is so very different, but in many ways, it's exactly the same in San Clemente. We feel we are still the place to go in this town. We're the center of our community. Our kids still do come here and hang out and go to Starbucks and eat food and look at fashion. And our adults are still here meeting together for meals and finding fantastic deals. The evolving change, however, is the need for entertainment and dining, which now supports retail, not the other way around as it used to be. We all know what online shopping has done to our brick and mortar, and we have to continue to attract people from behind their screens.
And I can attest to that, Susan. I was just at the outlets over the weekend. I saw a lot of the traffic from the circus, and I enjoyed Ruby's with my family, and it was packed. So, you do a terrific job of incorporating events into your venue. Jancy?
Well, I'm very excited that you went to the circus. I, have been working with them for 3 years. We were finally able to get them there. Last 2 years they had to cancel because of COVID. So we were, pretty happy. They're a great partner with us. So, but I also wanted to say that I really agree with Susan about, nothing's really changed. I've been in this industry almost 30 years. When I started, I worked at a shopping center that had a theater and restaurants. And I did a billboard. I was marketing director. I did a billboard that said, "Come for the food, stay for the fashion and fun." So, while those things haven't changed, what I think has changed is that people have less and less time to do things, and now they can shop from their couch. So the entertainment and the restaurants are even more important than ever to get people to, come to the centers and multitask. So, if you want to hang out with your girlfriends, you want to spend, time with your, daughter, you want to, your spouse, take the dog for a walk with your spouse, you can do that, but you can, and also shop, dine, maybe take in a movie, you might have to leave the dog at home for that, but, be able to multitask and, shopping is not just shopping. It's a social experience. People, go to centers to be with their friends and to shop together, and so this way they can multitask, they can shop, eat, dine, all in the same place. So it's just really important these days more than ever.
Jake, what are your thoughts on the evolution of the shopping mall?
Well, just to add on what Susan and Jancy said, you're right. It is a lot of this. It is similar to what it was, but it is also changing. It's a place for people to still get out of their house, but it's also a place to go for entertainment, not just movies, but also things like the concerts in the parks, the specialty marketplaces, and more community type events that bring people together. We're seeing less food courts and more fine dining experiences that really draw people out for the nightlife and for a night out. Those types of things that are bringing the community together and bringing people out for date nights and such like that, I feel are more than just going out and grabbing a shirt off the rack nowadays.
Adding on that, Susan, the outlets in San Clemente have a little bit different look than most malls. I believe that these are the only outlets in Orange County. Will you please tell our audience what makes the outlets different than a typical shopping mall?
Well, thank you, Kelly. We hope our guests enjoy our beautiful Spanish architecture and ocean view settings that you don't often see. Outlets in general in the past, as we all know, were big block structures in faraway places. And but destination for dining, entertainment, and savings is where we're evolving. And that continues to be the case here. And Outlets of Orange is in Orange County, but they are. We don't see them as a competitor for us in our South Orange County area.
Jancy, how does that make a difference from a leasing perspective?
So, well, first of all, our centers don't physically look different from typical shopping malls, but there's a different shopping mentality when you come to the outlets. People, shop at outlets for specific brands and to get better pricing. They come to our center with shopping in mind, so they can do it socially with friends and family members, but they tend to spend more, what we find, when they come to an outlet center, because they have that shopping in mind when they do. They want their specific brand. They're looking for that deal. So when you walk through our centers, you see a lot of people carrying shopping bags, as opposed to, some of the typical malls where you may see more people, but they don't have the bags. So it's just a little bit different shopping experience. From a leasing standpoint, not all retailers do an outlet type of option. So the tenants that do and really embrace and value their outlet stores, they're extremely successful. We have, a lot of our tenants that tell us that their outlet stores outperform their full price stores, especially in an economic climate like we're in right now. We, just tend to do better, and we have a lot of our tenants that actually manufacture product specifically for their outlet stores. And, so gone are the days of seconds and last year's product. These retailers who really get it and embrace it and make the most of it are highly successful with the outlet brand and outlet option.
Thank you, Jancy. Jake, before we get to my next question, we have a question from Jennifer Ward with the Orange County Business Council.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Ward. I'm the Senior Vice President of Advocacy and Government Affairs for the Orange County Business Council. And my question is, how are retail centers exploring the incorporation of more housing opportunities, especially in this post-pandemic era with remote work and hybrid work trends continuing to persist, as well as a persisting housing supply shortage crisis we're experiencing here in Orange County? Thank you.
Jake, that's a perfect lead-in to the redevelopment plans that Merlone Geyer just got approved this month.
Yeah, we're really excited about the approval we just got from the City of Laguna Hills Council. With this project, we're going to be putting about 250,000 square feet of retail, about 465,000 square feet of creative office space, 1,500 residential units, 200 of those being an affordable housing component, 100 to 150 room hotel, shopping and dining options. We have a new theater, 2.6 acre park that's going to have a nice open spaces for a lot of community events, 15 plus acres of open space, including landscaping, pocket parks, which will all be open to the public. So we're really excited to build an entire project that's all encompassing of the community's needs, a place for people to come, live, play, work, hang out, see movies, go to concerts in the park, see our local pumpkin patch that's been here for 40 years. We're really excited to be able to continue on with a lot of the old traditions and bring it into a nice, modern, new serving area for our community.
That's fantastic. Some great economic development coming to South Orange County. Okay, let's get back to our audience. Mary Rampone from our Orange County Association of Realtors Board of Directors wants to dig a little deeper on some of the challenges retail is facing that are beyond any of our control.
Hello. This question is for both Susan and Jake. Small businesses and retailers have suffered through COVID, and now we are experiencing high inflation. Consumers are now paying more for gas and groceries and other necessities, which of course will decrease their buying power for other goods. I'm sure the retailers are bracing themselves for a challenging year or two. My question is, what do you foresee happening for the outlet of San Clemente and the village of Laguna Hills in the next couple of years? Thank you.
Great question. First, it was COVID. Now inflation is hitting us hard. Susan, do you see anything in your crystal ball for what the future might look like?
Thank you, Kelly. Mary is so right. It is such a challenging time for us, and Jancy and I were just talking about this, our supply chain issues and our employee shortages that are so difficult for all of us to deal with. The current situation is so fluid, with our domestic and worldly events that change daily, if not hourly. We've been very fortunate coming out of COVID in 2021 and early 2022 that many of our merchants are seeing increases and months that have been better than they've ever had since we opened in 2015. Our sales per square foot has gone up significantly as some of our stores that were rather poor performers have left us, and our other stores are really, really thriving. We now are a whole new world with opening of Metrolux theaters on February 24th. That's been very exciting, and Jake, I know you're going to enjoy that when you get developed. And it's really starting to drive traffic to our dining, and we're seeing significant increases for our restaurants and stores in the later hours. Jance, do you want to respond?
Sure. While none of us have a crystal ball, I can tell you that every time there's an economic downturn, and, in almost 30 years, I've seen a few, our centers and our retailers do pretty well. Shoppers want the latest trends, but, now they need them at a better price because they're paying, $6 plus at the gas pump per gallon. So when the economy, starts to look better and come back, they've become used to getting these better prices, so they tend to continue to shop with us. So we fare pretty well with these kind of times. Not that we want them, but it does help our tenants and our retailers. They do pretty well through it, and but we'll see what the future brings.
Jake, for the village at Laguna Hills, I see a lot of construction equipment in your future.
That is very true. And we for sure have a lot of time before our first stores open. But we have an amazing leasing team, and they're constantly keeping an eye on the trends, the market, and everything that's going on. And we'll be looking to fill the center to the highest and best use when that time does come. Susan, I am definitely excited about our theater coming. I was able to make it to your new theater last week to see the Batman, and it was amazing. They have reclining seats and heated seats. That was the first for me. I was pretty excited. So they had to kick me out at the end. But congratulations on that theater. It's incredible.
Thank you for the plug.
When it comes to revitalizing shopping centers, it makes sense that there is a mix of housing included. The state requires additional housing, and it's through these types of developments that protect the economic success of the shopping centers, which are a critical tax base for our cities. It allows people to live, work, shop, and dine all in the same area. And in the case of the village at Laguna Hills, they are freeway adjacent as well, which reduces traffic impacts in the city. These type of developments seem to be a win-win-win for you, for the city, and for the community. Jake, is this something you'll see more of, both on a small scale and a large scale basis?
Thank you, Kelly. As a matter of fact, yes. I think we already see it. Irvine Spectrum to the north and Mission Viejo Gateway to the south at Crown Valley. The high density housing that's freeway adjacent, coupled with the work, play, and food areas, it's a concept that works, and a concept that keeps traffic out of the interior of the city to which they serve, as we've seen on these other projects, and as we're really excited about with our project. A big concern of a lot of citizens and residents of these cities is that these large high density areas are going to just flood their streets with more cars. Um, we're excited that we're right next to the freeway. Caltrans is doing an amazing job with widening our freeways down in this area, allowing for those arteries to open up. And when we do put these things on the edge of the cities, they're not flooding into the middle, really constricting those roads and enhancing traffic. So, another point being that we are building, like we said, work play areas that people aren't going to be having to leave their house as much as they may have before. People working from home, that reduces that traffic even more. So there's a lot of different elements that are going to be contributing to hopefully lightening the traffic that would have otherwise enhanced it. And we're excited to be a part of that and be in an area that we are able to utilize that benefit.
Thanks, Jake. Susan, there is a famous line from the movie The Founder about Ray Kroc and McDonald's when his partner tells him, "You're not in the hamburger business, you're in the real estate business." Is it that way for the future of shopping centers? Yes, we all want quality shops and restaurants, but it's also important that the property achieves its highest and best use.
Absolutely. We still have a lot of developing left as part of our original plan that was established more than 20 years ago, and it will continue to evolve. We do have a small amount of office space above Nike. We have a crossover health tenant, and then a small office area of individual suites. You may have seen some of the construction that's across from Chick-fil-A for our Mission Hospital. We're going to have medical offices, imaging, and urgent care there. And a hotel, as many people know, is also part of our future. That's in the same area as Chick-fil-A. And we'll have a Marriott autograph collection hotel sometime down the future as the world of hotels come back to life after COVID. Ocean View restaurant pads is part of our developing on top of our parking structure, and we'll have 4 to 5 beautiful restaurants that have views that are uncomparable in our area and really be a boom for dining in Southern Orange County. And then we have, where the circus was, we have that open area phase 2 that was originally slated for residential, but our ownership is looking at it for possibility of housing and other type of uses that are not in the current development agreement. Ownership very much desires to have best value and use for that area, which keeps our current customers and future customers happy and coming back. And Jance, did you have something you'd like to add?
Well, I just wanted to add to that comment about, we're not in the hamburger business, we're in the real estate business. I think it should also say, and we're in the customer service business. You can build the most beautiful property with the best stores, but if you aren't taking care of your customers and making them feel valued and important, they're not going to come back, and you're not going to be as successful as you could be. So, everything we do, and I'm sure Jake and his team the same thing, all about customer service to get them to want to come back and keep the place clean, maintained, and training our tenants to also take care of our customers. We incentivize them, we reward them, we do secret shops, everything we can do to make the shopping experience a great experience for the people coming to the center.
Now let's get back to the audience for a question. A common question is the impact of online shopping on in-person retail. We have 2 questions on that topic. One from former Rancho Santa Margarita Councilman Jim Thor, and the other from one of our South County realtors, Rita Tayanyaka.
Good morning. My name is Jim Thor from Rancho Santa Margarita. In response to the question, with a large amount of people ordering online and foreseeably going to be increasing in the future, what sort of tenant and retail mix do you think will work the best for the proposed projects? Thank you.
Hi, this is Rita Tayanaka with Costa Canyon Real Estate, and I was just wondering, are you seeing a difference in the makeup of the stores, retail stores? Are they becoming buy online? It gets delivered to your store, you try it on there and either keep it or return it there? Or are they still staying traditional where you have the traditional setup?
That is a great question. I imagine a lot of shops let you buy online and then try it on when you get to the store. Is this something your tenants are seeing? Jancy, this is a good question for you.
Sure. So, it used to be that online shopping and brick and mortar, shopping were two completely different experiences. But the smart retailers figured out that it didn't have to be. So, now if you order something online, you can take it back to the store and return it. If you go into the store and they don't have the size or the color that you want, they can order it online for you and have it either shipped to the store or to your home. And so, it's basically become a hybrid. Now, the smart landlords, luckily have included language in the leases to where, they benefit as well. It's all about where the transaction originates. So if someone orders something online and returns it to the store, it doesn't come out of the sales for the store because it didn't originate there. However, if you go into the store and they order something online for you, it does originate there and it is counted into sales, which is, extremely important for landlords looking for percentage rent in addition to base rents.
Jake, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think the term highest and best use is important and it's always evolving. I think no matter what is ultimately put in line, it's going to be important for the retailers to make quick decisions to evolve with the ever-changing demands of their consumers. As far as the buy online or in store, it really is a mix. I talked to a lot of people, and it seems like every other person I talk to wants to go to the store, and then the other person wants to buy online. I don't think we've had an incredible shift one way or another yet, but people still want to get out of their house. I mean, COVID didn't, help with that, obviously, with keeping people inside. So they want to get out, but they want convenience. They still want to be able to push a button and have that item delivered right away. Both types of retailers have to adapt to how their customers want to shop, and I think that's going to be a big a big undertaking in the next few years. Is for each side, whether it's online or retail, or sorry, inline retail, to figure out how they can kind of merge and utilize both of those options to the best of their ability.
Now let's address some of the biggest challenges our retail malls and shops have faced. We have online shopping and the loss of key anchor stores like Sears and Penny's. Then the pandemic hits, which impacted businesses large and small. Those are really big 1-2 punches for our shopping centers. How are you addressing these challenges? Jake?
Well, it's true. A lot of the shopping centers, malls are losing those tenants. We had a little bit different strategy to that. We purchased the leaseholds from those tenants in our project to gain that square footage back in order to be able to work on our project. But we still, obviously, in our planning phases, have these large empty buildings that a lot of the other centers are dealing with as well. Some of the things that we've done is specialty leasing has been a big part of that. Obviously, I can't do a 20-year lease on a old Macy's building when I have a project coming up in a few months, but I can do shorter term leases with termination rights that allow us to gain that property back quickly. One thing we've done is honestly, we're just never underestimating the creative drive of the entrepreneurs out there. For an example, our open market OC, which we've got at our old Macy's building on the second floor, they went a step further and they rented the whole floor and then they subdivided up little small spaces of between 50 to 200 square feet, and they sublet those to small retailers that otherwise wouldn't be able to have a brick and mortar store. To go a step further, they don't require them to actually be there to man their spot. You go in, you pick an item, you take it to the front counter, it's already pre-tagged, and you buy it and leave, and then they reconcile at the end of the month. Rents are very low for them. They're able to keep up with that, and it's been an opportunity to bring smaller retails into a bigger space, and then it's an opportunity for us to continue to lease out those spaces until we ultimately need it back for our continuation of our project. So I could say, if you have the space, don't be afraid to try something new.
How about you, Susan?
Jake, you have done a really wonderful job of keeping that going while you've been working through city issues, and I live in Lake Forest, so I'm super excited about what you're up to. For us, we continue with many of the marketing programs that have brought us success in the past and really drove traffic for us. And our demographic loves our events. that we create for holidays and all year round. And our sidewalk sales, to our tree lighting, to our barks and brews that raises money for our local dog shelters, and shopping extravaganza, our big charity event that raises funds for about 30 charities. These programs really drive our customer traffic and endure the community to us. As we all will do, our marketing strategies will change continually to reach our current and potential customers, to incentivize them to bring families and bring their wallets.
So for me, I see the challenges of the past few years as a retail survival of the fittest. The weak retailers that were already struggling went by the wayside. The tenants that were solvent and were able to pivot and reinvent themselves are the ones that survived to sell another day. Pop-up stores and clearance stores became the new norm. There's a whole new generation of startups that are anxious to open stores. And because I do specialty leasing, and thank you, Jake, for talking about that, because that is so important at our centers to fill in while until we get the long-term deals. It's just there's been a lot of opportunities and ways for us to get through these challenges.
Thank you, Jancy. Now let's talk about opportunities. What are you all looking forward to over the next 10 to 20 years? Let's start with you, Jancy.
Well, from a big picture retail standpoint, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how retailers use technology to encourage shopping. Virtual dressing rooms, other technology. They're constantly coming up with new and better ways to encourage people to come and spend more. The entertainment aspect, the restaurants, all the different things that we do to get people into the stores and shopping. That's what we're all about. The other thing for me for the next 10 to 20 years, it's fun to watch, is these startups. Because I do specialty leasing, short-term leasing, I have tenants who it's their first store. Stance is a perfect example. My son went to school with the son of one of the guys that started Stance. So I knew about Stance before anybody else did. Now that they've done some temp stores, they're a distributor internationally, and now they're doing perm stores. Just watching a tenant like Stance, grow and thrive and become national is very exciting to me. So I'm thinking some of these little startups that are incubating right now are going to do that as well. So it's just kind of fun to watch.
How about you, Susan?
We're very much looking forward to the success of our theater, and when the scripted restaurant opens and bar by summertime, what that will continue to do. Construction of our Ocean View restaurants, getting those open. Construction of our hotel, getting that open and operating, and then being able to attract stores that our customers really want, and you often expect to see in an outlet. And of course, additional entertainment venues, whether they're short-term like a circus or long-term, that we will attract those to be here for our community.
Susan, I'd like to add Vince or Kate Spade to the mix.
Yes, we would too.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Jake, how about you?
Oh, the next 20 years, I guess, wouldn't we all like to know, right? There's so many options out there, and retail's changing so much. Maybe it goes to stores that showcase products, and then you just order them online or in store from right there instead of actually having inventory, kind of mixing the things together. I don't know. It seems like, with something like that, you'd be able to reduce square footage, reduce your inventory, save some costs, but then on the landlord side, you'd be able to have a few more tenants as well as the original ones, because you're saving space on those. But just spitfiling ideas here. Feel free to trademark any of those if you want. It seems like we have a nice blend today, and honestly, who knows? This industry is ever changing and consistently evolving, but I'm really excited to see what's next.
As our program comes to a close, any final thoughts? Let's start with you, Susan.
We certainly appreciate being involved and invited to be part of this forum. The other thing is we really love our customers who see and understand and enjoy the experience of leaving home and coming to the center with their families and their dogs and just enjoying themselves in a beautiful setting, and maybe they'll even buy something while they're here. So thank you for having us today.
Jancy?
Yes, I agree. Thank you so much. This has been enjoyable. It's been nice to, talk with colleagues. And I'm sure they've all heard as well as myself. There's a lot of people out there that think that shopping malls are obsolete and are going the way of the dinosaur. I think they're wrong. I imagine my colleagues here think the same thing. COVID has taught us nothing else. It's that we're social creatures. We want to get out and be with other people and experience things. So, as long as we keep reinventing our centers, making them not only a place to purchase goods, but also a gathering place to be entertained, to break bread, our centers will not only survive, but they're going to thrive.
Jake?
No, thank you again for having us. This has been a great experience. We've been through some crazy times recently, but I feel if we continue to listen to the consumer and partner our community with our centers, we're going to do just fine.
I, for one, am super excited to continue to partake in these experiential dining and shopping experiences. So thank you, Susan, Jancy, and Jake, for joining us here today and sharing all of your interesting insights and perspectives. And thank you for joining us today. To learn more about the South Orange County Economic Coalition, please visit our website at economiccoalition.com. If you enjoyed today's program, make sure you tell a friend. We'll see you next month as we address other important issues impacting businesses in South Orange County. I'm Kelly Lee, and we will see you next time.